Hi, my name is Becca. Welcome back to Raising Them Simply. Here we share all about our secular homeschool as a family of 5. Today we're going to be chatting about the realities of our budget and what we plan on spending for homeschooling for this next upcoming year. So if you are new here, I have a current 2nd grader, a preschooler, a toddler, and another one on the way. I'm also a part-time working mom as a nurse. So this channel is all things homeschool and how we make it work for our family. So if any of this interests you at all, please hit that subscribe button so you're notified of future videos. But let's jump into it. So I had just a video go up last week discussing what our pretty solidified curriculum picks are for this upcoming school year when I will have a 3rd grader and a 2nd year preschooler kindergarten mix. So I currently have 2 students which that I'm purchasing actual homeschool curriculum and materials for. And I know that one of the biggest things that parents are trying to consider when they're talking about whether or not they can homeschool or not are, can they decrease their hours, or how they can move their hours at work around, or maybe just be able to quit altogether so that you could actually be at home to do the schooling for your kids. But also, how are you going to actually fund the materials needed for their education? So that's what we are going to be talking about specifically for our family. I am going to preface this by saying that I'm going to break this down based off of what we are actually spending, and then if you have none of these materials on hand, how much the total would be. Some of this stuff is stuff that we reuse, and some of these things are things that I've purchased on Facebook Marketplace and stuff like that. So what we are spending specifically for the school year is significantly less than if you had none of these materials. I also want to say that we do a literature heavy homeschool approach. We're also very eclectic. So we pull from lots of different resources. Sometimes we purchase the books and sometimes we don't. I will say that this is just for the curriculum altogether. This does not include what our budget is going to be for purchasing books separately. It also doesn't include pencils, markers, crayons, craft materials, art supplies. None of that is going to be in this total. We honestly just purchase those stuff as we need them throughout the school year. And I know it's very exciting at the beginning of the school year to purchase all these new and exciting homeschool materials and stuff. I'm not going to buy new pencils at the beginning of the year if I have plenty of pencils already. So that's just me. So this is just the curriculum itself, and then I'm going to split it up between my preschooler and my 3rd grader. So let's jump in. So for my preschooler, we are going to be continuing the All About Reading pre-reading level with her. That is something we already have because we purchased it last year. But if I did not have that, we would have had to have spent $119.95. And when it comes to the All About Reading Level 1, that's what we will be going into at some point next year. This curriculum is actually free for us because I use this with my current 2nd grader, and I actually split apart our All About Reading activity guides. I laminate it, I label it, I separate it out so that it's reusable for every student. So this is also a free curriculum for us. I have done videos below or before about how we save money when it comes to homeschooling curriculum. So if you're interested in those, I'll leave them linked down below. But this is a big way that we use to save money because we have multiple learners, is that if we are able to make something reusable, we're going to do that. So if I needed to purchase the curriculum, the box for the word cards, and the letter tiles, it would have been $203.85. If I, let's say, just needed the curriculum, it would be $159.95. I'm just realizing that I didn't write on here how much just the activity guide is. A lot of people will purchase the curriculum and then repurchase the activity guide each time they use it. I will leave that total up here for you guys if that would classify for you, but for us it's going to be free. Next is that we are going to be doing Handwriting Without Tears, the kindergarten bundle. I found this the cheapest on Learning Without Tears website, and this was $24.95. We are also going to be doing Get Ready for the Code bundle, which I found the cheapest on Christian Resources for $25.50. When it comes to math, we will move eventually into Math with Confidence grade 1. And I found this, we have the teacher's guide already because my oldest used that. So for just the student guide, student workbook, it would be $15.95, and that was from Rainbow Resources. Now, if I needed the full set, Rainbow Resources has that for $34.15. Then for social studies, we are going to be doing the kindergarten bundle from Tara West. And right now she actually has a sale. So that's $25 right now from her Teachers Pay Teachers website. This is curriculum that's going to be free for us because I utilized this when my oldest was in kindergarten. And so I discussed this in our previous video, but that's what we're going to be doing for our around the world journey and all of that stuff. We're going to be using this again. We are also going to be using the Little School of Smith's Space and Anatomy curriculums. For the space one, it's $24. I actually was able to get this curriculum for free because I worked with the creator in making a flip through video for you guys. So I'm very thankful for that. And I want to say thank you to the creator for working with me on that. And then thank you guys, because if it weren't for you guys, I wouldn't have had that opportunity to work with her. So I appreciate you guys very much. Her anatomy is also $24, and we used that a couple years ago with my oldest. We're going to be revisiting it again, and I actually have all of the spines for that since it is something that we've already used, so I don't have to purchase the spines for that curriculum either. So total for my cost for my preschooler is $66.40. And then if I didn't have any of this available to me, it would have been $515.55. Now we're going to go ahead and move into my third grader. For my third grader, we are going to be using All About Reading Level 3. And we I found this on Facebook Marketplace, including the activity guide, split out, laminated, separated out for $80. So I snatched that up as quickly as I could. It was about an hour drive, but it was completely worth it to save me the time and money it would have taken to do that activity guide. So make sure you're watching Facebook Marketplace. We get a lot of stuff from there. So if I did not have that and I had to purchase everything brand new, it would have been $159.95. And that doesn't include the time or the extra cost for me to separate it out and laminate it. For handwriting, we're going to be doing cursive. So the cursive kickoff from Handwriting Without Tears, I found for $13.50 on the Learning Without Tears website. For our language arts main curriculum, we are going to be going with the third grade Hearth and Story curriculum. This is not completed yet. However, it will be completed by the beginning of next year, and she has a lot of different grade levels. All of her other grade levels are listed for the full curriculum as $30. So I'm guessing that that's what it would be at for that curriculum. And then, like I said, that doesn't include any books or anything like that. That's just the curriculum part. For math, we are going to be moving to Math with Confidence grade 3. I found that the teacher's guide, and this is when it starts going into 2 different student workbooks. So that all together I found on Rainbow Resources for $57.50. I'm hoping that we are going to be able to find the teacher's guide on Facebook Marketplace. Sometimes I'm even able to find the student workbooks with maybe just 1 or 2 pages written in, and I could just erase those for sale. So I'm keeping my eyes open for that. Next, for history, we are going to be doing layers of learning. We're going to be doing Middle Times or Medieval Times. That we are going to do the PDF version because we have a really economical printer and it's way cheaper to do the PDF version. So I can get that for $44.99. This curriculum uses Story of the World. So I'm including this because I found this, the Story of the World book and activity guide on Facebook Marketplace for $20. And I went ahead and purchased it because Layers of Learning uses Story of the World. And I wasn't sure if it was going to be a good fit for us, and I think it will be. So I found that for $20 on Facebook Marketplace. If I did not, and I would have had to purchase the spine and the workbook. Caveat, the workbook's not required for this curriculum, but I bought the book and the workbook for $20. If I needed to purchase both of those, it would have been $49.99. For arts, we're going to be using also Layers of Learning with the Medieval Times. The PDF is also $44.99. We are going to be doing science together. So same thing with my preschooler. We are going to be doing anatomy and then space from Little School of Smiths. He is at the high end of the age range for those curriculums, but it's going to be good because he's already done both those topics before in our school, and he's going to get a lot more out of it. We're also going to be pulling in additional resources to talk more about how bodies change and all that stuff. So that stuff is not included in here, but stay tuned. I will do future videos on how we are kind of beefing up that, specifically the anatomy curriculum for him. Myself, for my 3rd grader, I will be spending about $290.98. If I had none of this already, it would be $400.92. So my specific total is $357.38. And if I did not have these resources, my total would be $916.47. Now, I completely understand that not everyone has the resources that I do. Some years, and this is one of the reasons why we plan our homeschooling the way that we do, some years there are more funds and stuff than others. And one of the things that we do when we're picking out curriculum, I've done a video of this before too on how we choose what type of curriculum we use. I will leave it linked down below for you guys. But we will spend more money up front on curriculum, especially if it's something that it can be reusable versus consumable. So when we buy curriculum, if there's a PDF version, 99% of the time we're going to do the PDF version. Math with Confidence does have a PDF version. It's just not worth my time or energy to go through and do the PDF for that. So we buy the physical copies, and I will repurchase the activity books for that. But for Layers of Learning, for example, I don't need to spend an additional $20 for them to print it and ship it to my house when I can print that off. It's worth it to me to do the PDF version for that. Another example is the All About Reading. Even though it takes so much time and energy, I will show you. This is the activity guide for All About Reading Level 2. And even though it takes so much time and energy to split these all out, to label them, which lessons they go to laminate it and separate it like this, I'm going to reap the benefits, because now when my preschooler ends up using this, I'm not spending $160 on a reading curriculum because I already have it. And I don't have to use that time either to separate it out because I already set it up the one time. So not only is it a really solid curriculum for us and works really, really well, this is now free moving forward. And especially since I'm about to give birth to our 4th baby, I'm going to get 4 students' uses out of this, which is worth it for us to spend the extra money up front. Another thing that I do, and another thing to keep in mind, is that I'm constantly looking on Facebook Marketplace and different sales. I have a running list on my phone of different curriculum or books and stuff that we might need in the next year or so. I don't plan out more than a year, but I have that on my phone, so that way if something pops up on my Facebook Marketplace or I see something at the thrift store, I can look at that and I could go, okay, this is something we actually need and it's significantly cheaper. I'm just going to purchase it now. So I don't spend this much money all up front. A great example of this is that with my current preschooler, we weren't ready to do math with confidence, kindergarten level, about a year ago. However, for $10, I found the student guide, which only had the first 4 or 5 pages written in it, and the instructor's manual for about $10 on Facebook Marketplace, and I bought it anyway because I knew that we were going to eventually need to purchase that, and I found it cheap at that time. I also do not purchase things if we're not going to be using it right now. At the time of me filming this, it is the beginning of March, and my oldest is just starting the Math with Confidence grade 2. And so I know he's not going to be doing grade 3 Math with Confidence by September, most likely. So I'm not gonna go ahead and purchase that now. I will just keep my eye out for sales and deals, and that way, if I come across something that's cheaper, then I can go ahead and do that. My plan is, when it comes to purchasing different books and stuff like that for our spines, I do prefer to purchase our spines because, especially with the 4th child coming, it's a lot to manage the different libraries and making sure I have all the books and stuff. I don't have an issue using the library for supplemental things, but for a spine, it's a little more difficult to do that. And I have done it in the past when we needed to save money. It's just a lot of work on my part. So I am allotting about $150 to $200 when it comes to all of our spines. That might seem like a lot, but I'm not always able to find these books used, or maybe it's a consumable book, and some of those books can be $50 if it's a reference book. So in total, if you count that, I'm looking to spend about $550 for 2 students, hopefully cheaper than that. But some years it is more expensive, and we just know that in advance and we kind of plan for that. Last year, I want to say we spent closer to $1,500 for everything, and that's because we upgraded our schoolroom. So we got a whiteboard, which is not necessary, but we got a whiteboard. We had to purchase a new bookshelf because everything was spilling out everywhere. We needed a new cube shelf. I bought a new printer because we were doing so much PDF stuff. So take this with a grain of salt. Some years we spend more money, sometimes we don't. But my biggest tip and advice for you is that if a cost is keeping you from wanting to homeschool, is to really shop sales and to have that running list. And you certainly don't need all of this. I know homeschoolers who have more kids than I do who are going to be spending less money than me. There are tons of free resources and stuff available online. It just depends on what you need to prioritize for yourself and for your homeschool. So I hope you liked this video and it was helpful for you. If it was, please give it a thumbs up. It really lets me know what kind of videos you like to see on this channel. Leave a comment down below. Let me know if you have any questions or tips and stuff that you use to keep costs down for your homeschool. Hit that subscribe button if you want to be notified for future videos. It is a free way for you to do that, and it really helps support my channel. And I can't wait to catch you guys next time.